Good to go? Sweet. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Superior Podcast. I don't think I really need to introduce the boss man anymore. This week, we're here with Mitch Thorpe from Dialed Offroad. Mitch, thanks for coming out, mate.
Thank you.
You've been a busy man with moving back to Queensland and bringing Dialed Offroad up and coming. So how's that all been happening?
Yeah, it's been a busy 2 years now.
Yeah.
Moved back, I decided that I wanted my own shop and to do a little bit of everything now. So from the race car stuff through to 2-inch lifts, shop work, everything in between.
Yeah, awesome. And that's what you've been going from, building like straight tube chassis race cars from design stage all the way up, and then you're prepping people's race cars and that as well, aren't you?
Yeah, literally everything from start to finish.
Yeah, and that's like, I don't know if you remember this, but we met a very, very long time ago, back when your old man's GQ was a wagon at Ormo.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, and then
that
like
goes back a long way.
Yeah, and that's and then like through like back at Black Duck with Tuff Tracks and that sort of thing, we were sort of hanging around. But yeah, you've been around for a very, very long time. And you and your old man through rock crawling, moving into Ultra 4 and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think my old man started competing when I was 6 in like the Australian Short Course Championships in the wagon.
Yeah, right.
So I was sort of always hanging around that. And then he slowly evolved as Tuff Tracks got outlaw class, etc. And then, moved into Tuff Truck. And I was always there behind the scenes. And then, him and I started competing when I turned 17, I think it was, at Tuff Truck. And went from there.
Yeah,
I think that's probably the first time I might have met you, maybe Tuff Truck. I don't know if it was at Tuff Tracks. That's where I knew Brett from back then.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if you wouldn't have been competing then all the way back. Yeah.
No. I had my first car, like first buggy at 17.
Yeah.
But I was sort of just doing low-level comps. And
I mean, like with Critty and all those
guys?
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
because Tuff Tracks was big back in the early 2000s. Tuff Track was huge. There was sort of 20, 30 cars competing every weekend. And then the 3 classes as well. It was awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, there wasn't up here in Queensland. There wasn't much going on really. That was where it's a bit different now. You got a lot of different types of events.
Yeah, yep.
Like you got fast stuff,
really
slow stuff, and all
up.
that. Whereas Tuff Tracks was more that relaxed kind of. You put your cones out and drive between the cones, trying to hit them. People have had their lunch break while they're driving.
Yeah,
take their time.
Yeah,
it's evolved a lot now.
Oh yeah, different world nowadays.
Yeah.
That's it. And then you've raced over at KOH and that sort of thing in the States. Like obviously that's another step up of just level of what everyone's throwing at it over there.
Yeah, it's really hard to explain hammers. Like it is on a whole nother level. The race teams, their setups, their cars are just unbelievable. I honestly can't describe it.
So. Yeah, that's when you went over and raced, did you set up like talking to a team over there and sort of have them bid, or just do it all yourself?
No, I went in really blind. I'd never been there before and just decided, let's do it. Let's take the car over. It was a brand new car. Hadn't been run, didn't have full drive at the time, got it in the container, half built sort of thing. And
right.
We hired a shed over there and finished it and got it out there. And
was it low range? Helped you a little bit?
Yeah, low range off-road. Helped
I remember seeing, I think it was at one of the Ultra 4 events, I remember seeing a low range sticker and that on there.
Low range helped a lot, with parts throughout the build. And then, Chris and Sean came out, 2 hammers. But apart from that, we were pretty much blind. Didn't even know where to start when getting onto the track because it's just such a big event. It's
a big commitment to, you probably, I'm guessing here, you're probably looking at 50 grand at a minimum.
Nowadays,
to give
it wasn't too bad back then. I think the first time I did it was 2015.
Yeah.
And it's probably
because now when you're competing against the level of the cars now, you sort of everything's going IFS, IRS, like everything's big dollars.
It's insane. Some of the cars, looking how much like Ford themselves have put into it. Like there is so much big dollar contracts out there to perform for sponsors and that. It's a wild scenario.
It really is a professional event nowadays. It's hard for the everyman guy to get into the 4400 class. But the caliber cars just through the roof.
That's it. Like you look at say like the Gomez brothers, they turn up to have like 6 cars, and 4 semi trailers. It's like
they have full blown race cars as their pre-run cars.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, they paid Joe Thompson. I think I heard this around the water cooler sort of story. They paid him to build another car as their parts car, and that's why he raced. He was just their parts car in a fully IFS UFO built car just to run parts for him. Yeah, well. Like he was just out there cruising around just as to go back to pits, pick us up something and bring it out. Like it's another level of those guys, and for tree loppers. It's a pretty big scenario setup.
Yeah.
How did you find the people themselves over there? Like,
Everyone's super friendly.
Yep.
If you ever needed parts, shock stuff, even go straight to King or Fox.
Yep.
Take them your shocks. They'll rebuild stuff for you out there on the lake bed. Like,
a lot different than here, eh? That. You just don't have that level of support in Australia.
We had BFG pit for us 1 year, and they have 10, 12 guys that just jump in all for free, change your tires, fill your car up.
Wow.
It's crazy.
That is very impressive to see that sort of thing, because over here it's like, which one of my mates can throw a jerry can up on the back and don't spill it?
Exactly.
It's a big game over there. And how did you find that as well, like taking a car, like even the second time you went over, taking a car that was built for racing here and changing it? Was it all just on the fly once you got there?
The shock tuning side was definitely just winging it once we got over there. The car itself, I'd campaign the car.
Was this 127?
So, the first year was 2015, same vehicle. By 2019, we decided to go back, and I went through all the teething issues. I think it was 2 years of solid problems. Wheeled the car, got really, really comfortable with it, and decided to give it another crack. And I think the big thing that a lot of people underestimate is the rocks. The rocks are seriously hard. And it's kilometers and kilometers of it. It's not just a little section here, a little section there. It just goes on forever.
Our rocks we tend to do, to me, it seems a lot smaller in scale.
Yeah, that's like even the closest I've seen it sort of in Australia is when Outback Challenge did the Mad Max stage and they ran up that gorge run. That's sort of the closest. And I think that was still like, I had no idea, never been there. I think it was only a couple of Ks, and then they were back into a few of the creeks that they'd run back at the old Outback Challenge. But some of like the, looking at this year, like lap 3, where no one was even allowed to go pre-run it. It was just, here's a lap and go find your way. Like it was proper hard, like cars, chassis snapping in half and halfway through dirty Can-Ams. But it was some wild setups over there.
Oh yeah. I think that was the biggest thing, was getting comfortable enough in the rocks that it wasn't intimidating to drive the rock section. So you really just have to be at one with your car to even think about entering that event. So it's just like, I've definitely heard like the rocks, and people do underestimate the scale of it, but it sounds like a wild time. Oh yeah, definitely.
You reckon, well, I suppose you've had a bit of a break from racing. Are you going to get back into racing, do you think?
At this stage, I'm just focused on the business. I'd like to, but massive,
it's a hard one.
Massive commitment, and I'd kind of want to build another high level car again, and at the moment it's just not in reach. So.
It's a hard one when you're starting a business, because you at some point there you got to focus on, well, what am I doing here? Am I trying to run a business that's going to be successful, or am I mucking around, or what am I doing? And by the sounds of it, well, probably a year ago, I guess, you sort of went the direction of focusing on the business.
I sold my car, which that was a hard one. I just finished converting it to full independent and portals, and massive change. Right offer came up, and it was time to move it on and focus on the business. So.
Well, hopefully all that goes well for you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, definitely. It's that's all you can hope the business goes well. If you sometimes you make that commitment, you're like, it's a bit of a heart-wrenching one, but sometimes like businesses can sometimes pay out a lot more than having fun can.
I've had fun for a long time, and I raced for it would have had to have been 14 years, I think it was, between rock crawling and racing. So it's time to have a break. And
how'd you go? You went over to WA there for a while. Over S.W.A.T.
The boys at S.W.A.T actually came to Hammers with me in 2019, and
that's right. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, at the time I was like a rep BDM sort of role.
That's right, because you were right in with all the tyre brands.
Wheel and tyre side of things.
It was you and Matt Gillette too was doing a lot of the tyre stuff. Your old man was in with tyres with was it Avanti, I think, was a brand?
He was sponsored by Avanti, which is YHI for a long time. He worked at my uncle's shop, just a tyre shop. That's how I sort of got into the industry, and then that's where I was for a long time, but kind of got over it after, again, 10 odd years. And the boys at WA offered me a job, so I decided to change it up. And
well, when you went over there is when we seen like I seen a big change in what you were sort of doing, because you went from tyres and then you started and you're doing SSM stuff, and you talked to the boys over there and they were really giving you, like, just saying how great you were doing all the fitting and all that sort of stuff, because you're obviously doing that. The SSM builds, putting all them things together. Then you started getting into all the shock tuning and just, like those boys, I think that section of your life really helped you, really got you going.
So much. And it was such a great opportunity because they had, access to the SSM side of things. They had access to so much shock work. So I was playing with shocks every day. We were building cruisers every day. Like, I couldn't ask for a better setup to cut my teeth and learn.
No, it was good.
You've also owned a couple of the SSMs now, haven't you? Did you have a 200?
Yeah, I had a 200 for about a year. So 4-inch 35, and then I currently have a coil converted 79 on 37s. So.
Yeah, right. That's why I drove past it on the way up. And I was like,
and
I was like, it makes a Mazda look tiny.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's but is that where you sort of started cutting into doing the shock stuff? Because I know you do a lot of that now, is focusing on shock tuning and that sort of stuff. Did it all sort of start at S.W.A.T or more through racing?
It was through racing. The guy that actually built my car for me, Matt Dunk, he did a lot of shock work with Fox and Wayne and guys over in America. And I sort of just learned a little bit off him over the time. And then slowly started working on my own stuff, my dad's stuff. And then, when I went to WA, that's when we decided to ramp up the shock work. And we were valving everything in-house and rebuilding in-house. And I was working a lot. Yeah,
because you're more of a desert race scene, because a lot in Queensland, I guess you could say, might offend some people, but there's a lot of, like, I would call it farm track racing. It's a lot of already laid out roads, like where go over to WA, very much more a desert racing style of thing. And there's not much like winch comps or Ultra 4 sort of stuff over there. It's a lot of high speed stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty much all just Kalgoorlie desert race and those type of events. Honestly, I didn't tap into that side of it much while I was over there. It was more the OEM vehicles. But the recreational scene in WA is huge.
So, exactly.
Because you had a fair bit. I remember when you were over there, we never had that much presence in WA. It was the one area of Australia we weren't selling much to. And I remember once you got over there and S.W.A.T got involved, I remember that changed the whole dynamics. And a lot of stuff started becoming popular over there. And like now we sell a lot of stuff over to WA, all recreational vehicles. So it worked very well for us too, working.
Yeah, and that's there's a lot of dune driving over there, isn't there? That's...
The whole Perth area is all sand dunes and sand track. So, whoops and bumps, and you need to carry your speed. So suspension's obviously super important. And people are happy to spend money on remote reses. And
Side by side's a big thing over there.
They weren't when I was there. I believe they are starting to take off, especially the recreational side. Like there was no recreational side by sides really, but
I think the thing that makes it hard is just the government locks out a lot of access to areas. I think if you could have access to areas, state forests and all that, it'd certainly be a lot more side-by-sides out there.
Oh, definitely, It is slowly starting to become a bigger thing as well. Like throughout Australia as well, you see it at Off-Road Outlaws and that sort of thing. There's a lot more side-by-sides starting to turn up. There's one out race on the weekend, the race I went to. They're definitely starting to slowly become a bigger thing in Australia. I think a lot of people do look at that as, because you can recreational register them, like in Queensland, we can actually take them to a full drive park, where you can't go out and do that with a Ultra 4 car or a comp truck or something like that as easy. So a lot of people go into that because they can actually go and wheel them at Spring 4x4 park or something like that as well.
And nowadays they are a great platform. Like they're running bigger CVs and bigger joints, and they're becoming
crazy how strong they are straight out of the factory.
Exactly right.
Just like a dirt bike now, you just start them, drive them.
I was at an off-road race on the weekend and the side-by-sides were dominating. So the new Mav R was leading the way. He led the whole weekend. And it was a fairly new vehicle too. So that's against pro buggies and trophy trucks and everything. So.
Wasn't that a funny thing when they released that? Everyone, suspension looks horrible. It's never going to work.
Arms.
And they're so much faster.
It's like the end of the world for everyone.
Exactly. And they're so much faster. There's, I think even... CT Raceworks, so one of the big side-by-side guys in America, they've even made all new versions of it and everything to change the geometry a little bit and that sort of thing.
I've seen a couple of brands that have got side-by-sides. They've done as their own name, but they're using OEM things like Can-Am and that, and just modifying them.
Oh yeah, some of those cars that went in the 4400 race this year for Hammers.
Yeah, it's definitely
got a Can-Am sticker.
Well, it's definitely shaking the scene up though. Like, once upon a time, you didn't really even consider starting with a side-by-side for a high-end
We
build.
did the Arctic Cats when they first come out. That nearly sent me to the nut farm because they were fast, but they were only like, what were they? I think they were still 1000cc, but they just couldn't handle corners. If you pushed them too hard through a corner, you snap the axle.
Yeah.
Oh, what?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. And that's where they handled unreal, like absolute weapons through the corners, but they just couldn't hold the axles in one piece.
Yeah,
so it soon ended your race. And then I had a couple of friends I sold them to, and they just kept pushing for warranty. Oh, this is under warranty. This is under warranty. And I wasn't getting a warranty from Arctic Cat. I was paying for it out of my pocket, and I'm thinking, man, this is going to send me broke.
Yeah, right.
But I was glad to see the end of them.
And
that's where then you started seeing, well, that was Polaris then was the big one. And then Can-Am kind of has overtaken, in my opinion, Polaris. I think Can-Am's leading it at the moment.
Yeah, well.
But now Polaris has got that new...
The new Pro.
Is it 2 litre?
Yeah, 2 litre naturally aspirated, but then, like you say, that they're starting to lead. Then you look at Brock Hager, like he won Dakar, the Baja 1000, the Baja 500, and then all 3 races you could race in a Polaris at Hammers, like just dominate. And I think he's still won more since then.
Polaris?
In a Polaris, like he's the factory guy for Polaris.
Things, it's like motocross racing. Half the time, 90% of the time, it comes down to the driver, the whole package.
Yeah.
You give them the shittiest car, maybe not the shittiest, but you give them a car that's second best out of the 2, and they could still win it because they're a better driver.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Kind of comes down to who they're paying.
Yeah. And then you look at Paul Wolf in the Ultra 4. What's he? I think he's up to 12 wins in a row in his Can-Am. Like he just keeps dominating, like just regional rate. Just racking them up. So the side-by-side scene's gargantuan in America. It's wild what they get to do like that. Side-by-side camp, I think is it? Or Camp Razor, it is. They'd get 2,000 Polaris Razors to Glamis for the weekend and just drive around and bands playing and all sorts of stuff. Like massive. It'd be cool to see it here, but Australia doesn't have the population for it or the government allowance. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
How where do you see your business going moving forwards? Like obviously you're doing shock tuning, you're doing a bit of everything, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm doing a little bit of everything. Which is what I do want to do. I want to keep things interesting for myself. I'd like to do one big build a year sort of thing. But yeah, the Superior stuff is what I want to start to grow. I've done a little bit. I'd like to tap into the SSM side in the future.
Yeah, because we had a chat about setting you up there as a federal facility, which I think, like with your skill set and your knowledge in the industry, all that sort of stuff, I think you'd be fine.
Needs a little bit of time. I need to grow the business a little bit more, but
I think in the future, I think it'll work out well. You just got to get everything in the right place and
exactly,
and all that. It'll certainly get your name out there a little bit more too.
Yeah, sure.
So, but are you doing much mechanical sort of work?
I try not to. I try to stick with what I really know.
I hate mechanical.
Yeah,
it's one of those things when you're young, you love it.
Yeah.
And as you get older, you go, oh shit, I'm bent over all day again under a bonnet.
Yeah.
I'm over it.
That's where I'm at with my car. It's all mechanical stuff, and I'm just like I don't want to do it at all. I'm putting a barbecue on for the boys to come around soon to do it all. I'm like, I'll cook all day. You guys work on the piece of junk.
I do work on my car on a hoist now, and it's like up, down, up, just constantly up and down on the hoist because I'm too lazy to bend over. I'm not very efficient. But it's the joys of getting older, isn't it?
I'm still not there enough. I feel that. It's still young as, and I'm just like, nah, I hate it.
You got to have some bourbon to keep you going.
Yeah, you're lucky in here. Plenty to keep you going.
I was out working on the Ultra 4. This is at the other house before I moved up here, and I actually got some motivation to work on it. This was when I had that big break. I went out there, cracked a few bourbons, laying down on the creeper. I fell asleep. Amy comes out. There I am. Just asleep under it. Well, that was another useless night.
Yeah. That's me. I get to a point and I'll be like, I'll go sit down and Google this as to what it's like, like get a wiring diagram for something, sit down, get on TikTok. I'm like, I've been here for 40 minutes on TikTok. Like, God damn it. Yes. Go get back into it and find the wiring diagram I was looking for.
Yeah, I do that all the time. You got to go in and you get lost on your computer and just find other things to do.
Yeah.
Excuse not to go out.
I sat down there the other day. I was motivated sat down drawing a truss up for my Dana 60, draw it all up, walk upstairs, sitting down, the drawing's just like, delete. I'm like, yep, I'm not drawing that again today. It's just like, I'm just going to turn the laptop off and go just sit on the couch.
How'd you find, like, this new build you done, or the one you did for Kylie, you did all that on, was it SolidWorks or Inventor or what?
That was using Fusion 360.
Yeah.
So
looks like that worked really good for you.
Yeah, it's a new thing for me, and sort of used her car to learn.
Well, when I looked at it off-road Outlaw, like you'd done an awesome job. Like it was like, to me, almost like show car. Like there was no, like my Ultra 4, you go out there and you see wires here and there, and that bit's been cut off and repaired, and it's changed, and like it was smick.
Yeah. CAD helps so much with that because you can pretty much plan out your whole build on the computer before you lay a single tube, a single weld.
Yeah, I wish I'd done that from the start with mine, like when I started chopping it apart, but it was, back then it was, like obviously all the boys at work use SolidWorks, but then I've got to go and annoy, because I don't know how to use SolidWorks. I don't get involved in it, but for me to do it, then I've got to go annoy one of the boys at work, and then they whinge because they can't get their job. Well, I whinge at them because they can't get their shit done. So, but yeah, like hats off to how good you did that one of hers. It's awesome, awesome build. Yeah.
And again, it was a massive learning curve. Like there's 100 things I do differently moving forward, and just learning how CAD then relays over into a real life build. But
It's a hard one, but building these cars, like all of us, you look at, say us two, well, I won't have Mitch in this because he just doesn't get anything finished.
And my car is a pile of trash. Just secondhand parts from everyone.
It's one of those things, you build it, you drive it, you think, fuck, I can improve that.
Yep.
And the next minute you're chopping it apart, you're fixing it.
Yeah.
It's very hard to, unless you can sit in someone's car that's already done and drive it and go, this is just unreal.
Yeah.
Always changing things.
Yeah.
Or I am anyway.
I haven't even got my car to driving stage, and I'm like, I'm going to cut this
back apart. You told us in the last podcast it was driving.
I drove it. It's not raceable drivable, but
it roll down the hill because your brakes don't work.
Made some noise, and the brakes don't work. No, I did a proportion valve delete, and then it just leaks now. But no, that's all. Like I look at it, and there's one bend I've done, and say one's like 98 degrees, and the other one.
Just bend it in your thumbs?
No, I've got a tube bender. Bought a tube bender, and then the other, one's like 98 degrees and one's like a proper 100, and I'm just like, I'm going to cut that out because I can't. Every time I walk in, I get the perfect angle of those two bends being out of shape. I'm like, I'm going to cut them out soon. Like it's just does my head in every time I walk past it. And I do that a lot. I go walk past it and don't do anything to it.
Sometimes you're best not to look at it, eh?
Yeah.
You still go camping a bit, don't you, with your old man? And
a little bit. It has reduced.
Like what's your thoughts now, Southeast Queensland? Who do you think's probably, and this is only an opinion obviously for people listening, but what's your thoughts on what's a good park to go to for four drivers?
That's a hard one. It depends.
I know, so I thought it was right at you.
Yeah, it depends really what sort of vehicle you have and what sort of driving you want to do. You know, Genoan is a great place for all-rounder, for a full-body car, but then you can't beat Swan Gully if you have a buggy.
Oh, so it's still running, is it? Swan Gully?
Yeah, it's under new ownership.
So I've seen that was, I don't know, someone sent me a link. I don't know it was you, Mitch, or something that was for sale only recently, wasn't it?
Yeah, so they've recently bought it. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And they've put a fair bit of work in. I went out there just after they purchased the property, and it was bad. Like we couldn't even get Can-Am, and I couldn't even get up the main track. I laid the Can-Am over on the main track. So, but they've got machinery in, and they're starting to clean it up, so it's accessible again. But yeah, the rock and the creeks in there are unmatched. So.
Yeah, definitely. That's what I've always.
Was that where that race that we raced, where you broke your rear diff? Was that there?
That
Which one was? That was at
Scenic Rim.
Scenic Rim, was it? Because you had Scenic Rim. There was it City View or?
They're split now. It was City View. Was the original when it was both parts.
Was it?
And then it changed to they changed its name to Scenic Rim.
Yeah,
and now it's split into two. It's Scenic Rim Adventure Park is that side of the hill, and Swan Gully is this side of the hill.
Okay.
No, it's actually Swan Gully is the lower side.
Yeah.
City View's still the top, and
Yep.
Scenic's a whole nother property again. It's
Okay.
It's south a little bit further.
Okay, right. I thought they'd split it into 2 properties.
No,
okay,
no,
right.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, no. So I weren't wrong there, but okay.
Yeah. So no, Scenic Rim's really nice park. Unreal camping views. The tracks, the harder side of the tracks, have sort of deteriorated over the years. Council gave them a really hard time, and that to knock a fair bit of it on the head. Reduce numbers and reduce the more modified vehicles from going out there. But yeah, I think they're slowly getting
because I think they didn't they have someone complaining driving down because people were driving on the road or noise or something vaguely remember something like that.
Yeah. So
it's a shame because we're running out of places to go.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah.
The state forest, everything's all locking everyone out.
Mm.
Yeah.
Was that your old car, the Widow that they have there? Doesn't Scenic Rim have?
Yeah, the Spider-Man car.
The Spider-Man car.
That was my first buggy.
Yeah, right. Yep.
When I was 17, so I sold it to.
I didn't realise that.
Yeah.
The red one.
Yeah, the red and blue Suzuki cab on a Nissan chassis.
Yeah. That's what I thought. They had it there cutting in. They were going and cutting in a few that were driving a few of the tracks. Yeah, right. Yeah, yep.
Yeah, that's out of Scenic.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yep. Yeah, because it's good to see Manor open again as well. Back up.
Well, I seen a thing the other day. It looks like they must be allowing buggies again because they locked it right down and it was just full drive. No, originally it was just going to be camping. Then they said full drives. Now I seen a thing the other day. They had a buggy weekend coming up.
Yeah.
So they might start opening up a bit more.
Yeah, they had, I think, because Dave's the original owner, he's moved back in. I think he has a Polaris or a Can-Am or something, and then he's starting to open it up for that. I would assume insurance is almost impossible to get for motorbikes these days in places.
Yeah, hard one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I know Black
talking to Frank, there was always accidents out there with the bikes.
Yeah.
Like racing on motocross tracks, so you'd expect it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But I think that was with Black Duck when the new owners purchased Black Duck. They were told you can never have motorbikes here by insurance. It was all drives and that's it. Which obviously again,
you reckon have you been to Black Duck?
I
recently?
haven't been there for a very long time.
It'll be interesting with the next round 2, Ultra 4 going there.
Yeah,
just watching on Facebook, Croppy reckons it's pretty good. Good for spectators.
It'd be good to see they're using all the motocross tracks out the back because there was some big motocross tracks right at the back of the park.
That'll be interesting. 2 cars side by side on the motocross track.
Might
Not much room
squishy,
for the bank.
Yeah.
Who's got the faster car?
Yeah.
Bigger coconuts.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Who's got the least scared to hit the brake pedal?
Yeah. Anyway, that's about 3 weeks now. I think 2 weeks, isn't it? That
I
race?
think it's about 3 weeks away.
So I'll have to pull my finger out and get mine done.
Yeah, I got the buzz bars coming. I ordered them. Whenever I was up here last time, I told them to send I think they sent the invoice through to Mel or something. But yeah, we'll...
I'll put rope and all the crap on it and get my panels wrapped. I've got new panels.
Yeah.
We're getting there.
Getting there?
Never ends. But how good was Cruiser Park back in the day?
Yeah.
When we used to go there.
We definitely took it for granted.
Well, I don't think we did, but some people took it for granted.
Yeah.
The racing was just unreal.
Everything about that park was unbelievable.
It was, camping. Even when you decided to, a few nights when I went up with mates, just disappear out to the back of the park and just roll a swag out. It was so good. It was.
Did you ever go there? I know you would have, but did you ever go there in the early days when you'd be asleep? Like this goes back 15 years ago, I suppose, and you'd be asleep in your tent and you're allowed to drive at night. And then you just hear the fucking idiots out there and it'd be like 10 metres to your side cutting donuts. In your swag. And you see the lights in the background spinning around.
Oh yeah, it was. I remember as a kid,
someone killed.
Oh yeah,
it was good fun. But not real safe.
Oh, when I was a kid, we used to go. Remember do they call it Carnage Canyon? It was always the Brisbane River track, way out the back.
That was just a Brisbane River track. They called that. So that was technically where you weren't supposed to be. Even though we all used to go out there, that was on the state forest side.
Okay, right.
But everyone used to drive up it. Well, not everyone, but people who had a decent full drive used to drive up it.
I remember being out there till 3 a.m. as a kid, sleep in Dad's car and wake up, whack on your head as he drives over a rock, hitting the window and stuff. But and that's what you're allowed to be out there till 3 a.m. and I think they locked it down till 10 at the end.
Yeah, it ended up getting closed right down. They didn't want anyone out there.
Yeah.
I remember what was it? Me and Shane raced. It was Carnage. What have been? Was it the Carnage Canyon? Yeah, Carnage Canyon they called it.
Yeah, it was just the
when
run
we did a
straight.
race. That was Shane Garish.
Yeah,
Was
okay,
running
right.
it.
Yep.
And I remember I borrowed BB's Hilux, me and Shane. And at one point we went through the creek. I don't know what happened. I don't know if I got stuck, might have diffed it out or something. And then all the water's coming in, filled up all the cab. Almost went in the air filter, like probably an inch under the air filter. Anyway, got it through that, kept going, flying along, and then just clipped this rock with a back wheel and just front wheel, sorry, and just ripped the sea and everything, like just tore it to pieces. I was like, oh shit, I shouldn't have borrowed that. And then it was like, Shane, next week, man, we got to get through work time. We got to go up and fucking recover this car. Yeah, we were lucky. It was right out the back and we could just leave it parked up.
Yeah,
it was like right out.
In the middle of nowhere. Yeah, that track was way out the back.
Yeah, and it was a nightmare when we went out there because all the sea and everything was all fucking squashed and the bearing was all torn and everything. So trying to get it back together, nothing fit. It was, But yeah, it was certainly a good park, well maintained. I don't know what Albin's doing now. I think he's moved to Maryborough.
Yeah, he's
that way. He's a farm.
chatting to Sterlo. He just said 400 acres, few deer. He's like, it's quiet. No dickheads turning up at 3 a.m. in the morning doing skids in my driveway. He's just like, it's great. It's great. He's like, should have done it years ago.
Yeah, it's I used to go up there and have a beer with him out in his back patio, and I was always saying, like, I just don't know how you do it. I don't know how you deal with the idiots. Yeah,
that's it. It was very wild back then, like with cruiser. And I think like when you go to the Springs, I think the way Lucas runs it, Lucas is very strict on everyone.
A lot more stricter.
Yeah, and it is a lot smaller park, so you can control it.
Yeah, I think the size makes a difference. Albans was like that, whatever it was, 8,000 acres or something like that. It was a big park.
Yeah, that's it. You could disappear at the back.
A lot to manage when you've got those big. I remember the hill climb weekends back in the day, and they had that big paddock at the hill climb, and it'd be 1,000 cars.
Yeah, like it was. Yeah,
it was insane. They were big nights.
Yeah,
so it would have been big money coming in, but big headaches too.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Lucas has definitely got it very strict with, especially with Beer O'Clock Hill. You get that. It's a total
that well.
Yeah, and it's totally different to like camp road parties that people are like, oh, we're going on a Triple S Winch Challenge. It's going to be awesome, and they'd never watch a single race car go up a hill and just be doing burnouts on camp road. Like what Lucas does and polices it and make sure everyone's got their chairs, are out of the way. It takes a lot of the dickhead out of the fucking end of the afternoon. It's a very good way to run it and keep everything running the way Lucas wants, so he doesn't have to deal with headaches. I think it's very good.
Yeah, I think like we're pretty lucky to have some four-drive parks still going. So hopefully Lucas keeps it going, and he just got that extra 1,000 acres on it now. So that certainly would have helped. Yeah,
definitely. I think his time frame wise, like obviously driving bulldozers, it's not exactly pop out the back of the park and cut a track in with a bulldozer. It's a full day to drive it out there, then a next day ploughing. So I think he's just working through getting all the roads cut into it, so there's actually points of reference, so you're not just in 1,000 acres with nowhere to go sort of thing.
Yeah.
There's a new park opening up. I think it's in Kandanga.
Where's that?
Sort of east
is the ocean, my man.
Yeah, no, it's between Gympie and the ocean. Like it's sort of Ammermoor. I think it's like backs onto Ammermoor State Forest and that sort of area. The guys, he virtually only invites his mates out there at the moment. They're just working through cutting tracks in and that sort of thing and keeping it very strict at the moment until they work and they've got all the insurances aligned and everything like that. And then that'll open up.
Do you know the size roughly? Like,
don't know size. It's looks probably similar size-ish to the Springs, sort of only that sort of 700 acres. I don't know the fella's name. Used to be a winch challenge competitor. But yeah, it's they've got a new property in there, just up there cutting tracks in and that sort of thing. There's a few like Riley and that have been going up there and helping out, and so that'll be another good thing. And hopefully only that sort of hour and a half drive away from us where we are on the north side of Brisbane. It's kind of good,
It'll be good country up there too. Ammermoor was quite hilly and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, hilly and wet, so it won't be a dusty.
I don't know about the wet side. I don't want the wet, but the hills will be good.
I'm more meaning for the dust. Keep the dust out of it. But yeah, it'll be good for southeast Queensland and a little bit further north to get something back in that area. It'd be really good.
Yeah.
I know the Blinkos are still looking at opening something up as well.
Yeah,
so
It's crazy. Like I sent Frank a link to one of the properties that come up for sale, and it's just crazy the land now, what it's worth here. Like for someone to buy or lease a block of land for a full-time park is just, it's insane.
Yeah.
This whole southeast Queensland, the developers are just paying so much money, just bringing the prices right up.
Yeah.
So yeah, you sort of got to be lucky. It's going to be a struggle for him.
Yeah.
Hopefully he finds somewhere because he knows how to run a park. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
The boys know how to use that machinery as well.
Yeah, exactly.
And maybe any of the listeners, if you guys know a big property in southeast Queensland that potentially might be open to the Blinkos running it as a park, send us a message.
Yeah, definitely.
Blinkos did an unbelievable job at Manor Park. Like they built all those motocross tracks, and then they had the full drive tracks, and they're just a great family to be around.
Yeah.
So, and he's looking for a property at the moment. He's got to find one.
Yeah.
So there's surely got to be someone out there that knows someone.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Like if they're, someone's over owning a big property or something like that.
Yeah, or just wants to
own as a cruiser park or listening.
Still, like when you look at Blinkos or Manor, like they're still running cattle. You look at Cruiser Park, they're still running cattle.
Yep.
All that sort of stuff. They were still operating as farms.
That's exactly
They just had the full drive stuff to the side.
And I would like to think that over all those years of those properties running them side by side with cattle, that like the full drivers aren't going to do anything to the cattle. Like the cattle are just leave them alone. Like up at the property we were up watching the racing on the weekend, same thing. It's just a working cattle farm, and that was the thing. We just avoid the cattle. Don't go near the cattle, and that's what you do to respect that. That's how we maintain these places as full drive parks to stay open, is let that business be their business of that side and just stick to the full drive stuff, do the right thing.
Yeah. There's this huge park. Sorry. Opening up just southeast of Stanford. 4,500 acres.
Yeah.
And they're just bulldozing it now. They've spent 6 months bulldozing it already and getting ready for release by the end of the month. Next year. Yeah. So
it's like virgin property, so they've bulldozed in. They've got a lot of waterfalls and that, so they've bulldozed roads in across it and that sort of thing.
Awesome.
But decent size, like 4,500 acres. For us, like that New South Wales, they've never.
That'd take us to get there probably 3 or 4 hours.
4.5-ish, yeah. Like it was sort of Tenterfield-ish again, sort of that Rover Park kind of area again. So that was always about 4.5.
I moved north and then big park open south.
Yeah,
standard.
You don't like driving more than an hour anyway.
Finally got closer to Cruiser Park and it shut down.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah, if the Cruiser Park owners listening, talk to the Blinkos. That's what we need.
Well, Frank did talk to him, and he wasn't interested.
Yeah, okay. Right.
He just didn't like the damage that was done to the park.
Yeah, okay. Right.
Yeah, I heard so many different stories from everyone about the owners. I don't know what the truth is.
Yeah, that's exactly right. There's everyone's
it was a gas company, and then it was a mine, and it was this, and it was that, and
then now it was apparently just a cattle property.
Everything was demolished on the property, and now then another one I heard, no, nothing's demolished. And
I looked it up on Google Maps the other day. There's been some roads cut, like looks to be. I believe they were. Remember the amphitheatre? You come down the hill. I think they've cut a road around the amphitheatre just to get cattle truck in, which to me is completely normal. But all the toilet blocks and everything, they're all still there from what I can see in it.
Well, that's what Frank said when he was talking to the owner, said everything's still there.
Yeah, yeah.
So, So hopefully he's listening and he opens it up for us.
Yeah.
Good to go. It's gonna be a big
we'll look
party.
after it perfectly, we promise you. We'll come and mow.
What are we mowing with?
You got a tractor, don't you?
I hate mowing. So if you start up racing again, what do you reckon you're going to race? Like what sort of events?
I honestly don't know. I went to an off-road race on the weekend. I liked it.
The good thing about those off-road events is you just don't break shit compared to
freaking
before.
Yes and no. It depends on the.
I know when we did, because you raced the same time me and Matt did, didn't you? At Gundy.
Yeah,
we all did it the same weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it was just so minimum breaks for everyone compared to a normal bashing it in the rocks.
For me, I managed to break an axle and stuff.
Oh, did you?
So,
Well, I had a really good weekend.
Didn't you have a 14 bolt front and rear? Like, how'd you break that?
Yeah, it was a 300M axle and just managed it.
Yeah, right.
But I don't know. That's the part that I don't 100% agree with in the off-road racing side of things. If it's big bumps, stuff breaks because you're shock loading everything all the time. So,
well, that's what.
Yeah, the rocks obviously bash your stuff up and take out drive shafts, and it's easy to make a driver error in the rocks. But yeah, in the big whoops, it's pretty hard on you.
Yeah, that's what, like, looking at Carnage, they have a small whoop section in there, the Saturday nights, and that's what I heard. A couple of guys in this last Carnage broke rear pinions, just their patrol stuff through the whoops, just landing it flat or landed on the upside of the next one. And
a lot of the cars like that we're racing in these sort of four-wheel drive events aren't set up for big whoops. Like they've only just started putting whoops in these events. Like off-road racing, yes, always. But then you look at what we've been in for years, like we've never had whoops. We've just never worried about it.
The odd jump, the odd bump.
And it was a manicured jump, so it was a nice landing one sort of thing. So it's changing again, like the way we're racing and what people are racing with and all that. People just want to get faster and faster. Coming down to.
That's what on the weekend up at Battlegrounds, like it was fast, very, very fast on the flat ground. Like one of the back straights they had, I saw one of the Can-Ams and like I was holy, like they are hauling. But the rocks and that were gnarly. And like a lot of the guys drove them all. Like there was, and everyone there.
I've seen some you put on and I just thought,
oh man, that's the donkey though. That's Mark Thomas. Like he had, when he overtook Evan up that hill, he had a flat rear tire. Just he was going to just finish the race with, I won't fix the tire. I'll just go another lap on the flat. And he did that in the final. He just drove till the end on the flat. But yeah, that's Mark Thomas for you. He'll let it eat until it don't eat anymore. It's pretty good to watch. That's what I put that video up and someone messaged me. It was like, it is criminal to put music over the top of the donkey. It's a 6.6 Duramax. It sounds so good. Big power, just there.
It's hard to beat engine noise in a race.
Oh yeah.
Like, with music. It's not too much music, does it?
No, yeah, that's some of the cars up there this weekend, like just big, rowdy 6 litres. Like everything sounded good up there.
6 litre.
6 litre one at Bud.
Is there even
6 litre single shot car one?
Is there even a 6 litre racing?
Yes. Look,
not
all of us have
the stroker cranks in all these things.
Yeah, no.
Or are we still talking cams? Oh, everything's a 6 litre.
Yeah. That's, no, not everyone can afford a 440, Mick. Let's fucking get off our backs.
I think I went backwards with that thing. I can't get a muffler an exhaust big enough on it.
Ah, okay, right.
So
Is that
just flat lines at like 6,800 because I can't get the pipes, can't get big enough headers on it.
Ah, right.
It would have been better sticking to a 6 litre.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway,
I think
that's a headache for me.
Yeah, that's headaches of race cars. I was running a dirty little LS1. I'm going to put a turbo on
You'll probably go faster than me.
Yeah.
I can't get my exhaust out.
Well, that's what the car that came second, was a stock blown. It's been tuned, but just the stock, the Boss Coyote.
Yeah.
Brendan Hamilton's.
They're going well.
Yeah, like that thing's quick, like really quick off the line.
Is that the, I think what his name is now, is that the tan?
Brendan Hamilton. Yeah. Used to be tan, it's now Aqua.
Oh.
Really nice.
Oh, so was that him that was racing?
Yeah, that was the video I put up.
Okay.
Yeah, him and the donkey came in, but yeah, it's very, very fast car off the line. I think he ended up coming second overall for the weekend, and then Riley came third. Dirty Barra, but he
I might have to, when the missus's Dodge comes in, I might have to borrow her motor.
Yeah.
Better motor than the LS.
Yeah, it probably is nowadays, yeah.
Supercharge? Oh no, you don't want to go back to
supercharge.
We didn't have any luck.
So you played that game, didn't you?
Right on a straight line. Well, let's just have a quick chat about 127, the race car you had.
Yeah.
That was, what motor was that? Was that that was a 427 or?
It was a 410 cube.
410.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that thing used to scream. Like it had a really weird note.
Yeah. I think it was.
Was that the headers?
Yeah, it had over the top headers. That engine was built by Russo's down in Sydney.
Yeah, it went really good. It went really hard.
It was definitely a really revvy motor.
It used to scream because, you'd listen to mine. It was a 427 at that stage, but completely different sounding LS's.
Yeah.
Mine had the deeper note, whereas yours was that high, just scream.
Yeah. Was it like 180, like were they crossover headers, or just they just went up?
Yeah, okay, just went up and over the back of the heads. So.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know how it makes a difference, but it must.
Oh, just different flows and that sort of thing, though. Just and like stainless to mild steel will make all sorts of difference.
How do you think the IFS market's going to go in? Like, obviously, high speed racing, no one's ever going to debate IFS isn't the way to go.
Yeah,
we all know that's better. IFS+IRS. Yeah. How do you feel it's going to progress in say the next 5 years in Ultra 4?
After driving a couple of IFS cars and an IRS car, it is, in my opinion, the way to go. If you get a well-balanced IFS car, they work well in the rocks as well.
Yep.
So the only thing is the cost. It is expensive
Maintenance.
The maintenance is huge. Like,
Yeah.
you really can't skimp on anything. And I think it is the way to go. It's just probably going to take us a little bit longer in Australia because we don't have the likes of 74 Weld and people developing all these custom parts specifically for that market.
Yeah, that's what I think is the struggle here in Australia is just the Oz dollar. Like you look at
against the US where it's shit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like you look at a Series 30 RCV, IFS/CV. What is it, $5,000 for a pair? Like they're probably more.
I think they're $1,600 US each. So.
Yeah, that's it. Like, and that's
doesn't
one
sound much,
CV.
$1,600 US, but by the time you convert to Aussie dollar and you get the thing here, and then
you get
good old tax man hits you number 8th time out of making your money.
Yeah, and you got to buy 4 of the bastards.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on. Like, and still, there's only very few people in Australia like making up to a 40 spline, 300M axle and that sort of thing. Like a lot of people are still looking to Brannick, RCV, Sidetracked and all that sort of stuff to get that style of stuff in Australia. And you just get hammered by everything.
Oh yeah.
No, my Can-Am IFS+IRS, like I get in that and it's, you flog it hard and you just get out like still the same. You're not worn out. Whereas you drive something like solid axle, front and rear, race car, you get out of the race and you're tired. It's a lot of work holding onto the steering and constantly recorrecting everything. Whereas
and that's still running full hydro.
It's like driving a car.
Oh yeah, for sure. And that IFS+IRS car that I built, I only drove it the once, but it was the same deal. You could just tip it into the corner. You had way more confidence. You weren't like waiting for it to catch an edge sort of thing. Like, they just feel really, really well balanced.
So. It'll be interesting to see how we progress. I think we'll certainly start seeing more in the off-road scene, especially like in your think and all those sorts of things. I think you're going to see a lot more all-wheel drive, four-wheel drives.
Well, that's
coming on it. All-wheel drive just one.
Yeah, all-wheel drive just one thing. Yeah.
Minsky did that one that, well, it only did 1 year and they all had a meltdown. They all whinged about it.
Oh, yeah.
No, didn't it have a twin turbo in it though?
Yeah, they all whinged about the horsepower.
Yeah, because it was a racer engineering car. Because Travis Robinson, not Bo. Bo's got the two-wheel drive. Travis Robinson, he had a Mason, and it was all-wheel drive, and they just won thing. Big dollar car that, like they'd be $1 million landed, I reckon. By the time.
And the rest.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna. Yeah, when you think about it, like I think that first one they built for Andy McMillan, that was probably 5 years ago now. I think they said that was $750 USD for a full drive, and and they've changed ever since. They've changed since then. Like their billet front diff, billet 5-speed custom automatic, like they call it a Mason-matic, billet transfer case, billet rear diff. Like they're stupidly like next level of engineering with those cars. Billet portals.
And then you look at the engine, they're running like Joe Gibbs race motors, which are just next level again.
Yeah, exactly right. Like they're $100,000 probably.
No,
you're allowed. You're allowed 7s now. Well, I think when Brent Smoothie bought his over, I think they said that was 1,000 horsepower 7-litre. But they're like, you're talking $100,000 motor like this.
It's pushing it because you got to remember at the end of the day, 7 litres to make 1,000 horsepower. Is it like naturally aspirated?
Oh yeah,
that's right at the very end of where you could get it.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Must just have everything done.
Yeah, there's
only so much air you can push through a cylinder.
Yeah, they're like wild. Look, I've seen a few of them sitting in the crate. It's just like, holy God, like everything from virtually the block up is billet. Like it's just they're huge dollars in them. And Smoothie's wheel stood, like full drive car wheel stood off the line at Fink, like he hit it that hard. So they obviously work.
But they need the horsepower for all that extra rolling resistance.
Exactly right.
The extra weight involved. So.
100%. Because that's what Proformance over in WA, when they built that little buggy that they had, it's like a side-by-side, but it ended up being the Class 1 size. Everyone was saying to them, like you need the horsepower to go fast because you're stepping up to full drive. But that thing seems to be pretty quick for a single shock. It's like they claim it was a side-by-side when they first started building it, but it's definitely class 1
That's
size.
one with the real. They did the billet real narrow little front
diffs, yeah.
third. Yeah, diff.
Yeah, so yeah, they do same thing. They're like billet transfer case, billet. They've designed theirs to run the 8 HP now.
Yeah, they've just started doing side by side stuff now.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of people starting to run those in the Can-Ams, those X3, because they'd step up to a Dana 30 ring gear, which is huge for a Can-Am. A lot of people probably hear that and go like, "Oh, that's horrible in my Jeep," but it's in an 800 kilo car. It's a lot better.
Yeah. Like on your business, just so listeners know, like obviously we've talked a bit about what you actually do. If the guys have got one, say race cars, they want to get serviced and all that, obviously that's something you do, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Everything from just a basic check over, nut and bolt, entry level race prep through to arrive and drive. So Shan from Davy Mac had his car with me for the best part of a year before he sold it, and yeah, I'd prep that full prep to wherever level he wanted.
He'd just drop it off, you'd prep it, have it ready for him to basically pick up and go race.
I'd actually take it out to the race for him. So for Shan, he is in central New South Wales, so it was a little bit difficult logistically for him to bring a race car.
You just need a helicopter just to land.
Just about.
Perfect setup.
Yeah. But no, it worked well. So we did Don River a couple of times, and he managed to fly his family up for that event. So yeah, can pretty much cater from the local guy that just wants to.
Yeah, and then another thing, shock tuning. You obviously do shock tuning.
Yeah,
like you go out, you do days when you go out with customers, don't you?
Yeah, correct.
So, so you can actually see the vehicle working.
Yeah, at this point in time, a lot of the cars have just been bringing the shocks in, giving them a service. A lot of cars haven't had their shock serviced enough, so we're getting that sort of up to scratch, giving them a bit of a bench tune, and then we're going to start organising quite a few tuning weeks.
Because what a lot of people don't realise is shock absorbers, and this doesn't matter if it's a say a single adjuster, 3-way, rebound, compression, whatever. A lot of people don't realise that chances are when you get it out of the box, brand new, it might not suit the way you want it to be. It's not the fault of the shock or it's a piece of shit or whatever. And this doesn't matter what brand. It is just, it needs adjustment. And if you go to someone like Mitch that knows what he's doing, like a simple adjuster, shock, compression, to say compression, pretty easy. Either know it's going to get harder or softer on your ass. But then when you start getting in, say, 2-way, 3-way or bypass and all that, it's very easy to stuff it up. Very easy to tweak what you think's going to make it better. Logically, you'd go, "Oh, I want a softer ride. I'm just going to open everything up, and make it softer." Not the answer.
And that's it. Like the shock may not be like internally valved enough to suit the wide array of how vehicles are set up. So, like my 79, it had next to nothing in the back, so I needed to revalve that lighter than what the shock could be adjusted. Where some guys have 2-ton hanging over the rear axle. Obviously, that needs to be tuned completely differently.
We get such a variation in customers. Like say, one will have just nothing on it, and then the next guy, like say today, we got a cruiser in there that's got everything on it, a Caravan and all that. And you can't compare those two vehicles with the same shock and expect them to ride the same.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but that's where just the general person getting underneath and turning dials isn't necessarily always the best answer. So I certainly recommend either talking to where the shocks come from, the company, or someone like Mitch, get out there and tune it.
Yeah, definitely right. Do you see that a lot in like race cars where people are just grabbing an off the shelf? They just order their Foxes or whatever brand from wherever, and they just slap them in and go racing?
For sure. I think people are starting to understand the importance of a tune. Like, $1,000 here, $1,000 there to tune your vehicle, but you may double your speed through a set of whoops.
Yeah, exactly.
It seems like a lot of money at the time, but compared to everything else that you spend on the car, it's really not much in the grand scheme of things.
And there's no point. No, I see sometimes on posts and all that, a specific brand shock, whether it be ours, someone else's, whatever, or you'll have 5 people on there. Oh, that's great. Same, another person will go, "No, they're shit, didn't like them," whatever. It's not the shock. It's just literally go and spend the money, get them right. You bought the shock absorber. Why go and buy something else?
Yeah,
that's you're probably still going to have to get it tuned anyway.
Yeah, that's what I was seeing the other day. Someone going, there was a set of our shocks. Like, I'm putting them in today, and if I don't like them, I'm just going to buy Kings. why waste another $7,000 on a set of Kings? Like, just give us a ring, give you a ring, or anything like that. We can make them handle exactly the same as another brand. It doesn't.
There's not much. They're all pretty much the same inside.
Yeah.
There's no magic.
Nowadays.
There's no magic dust.
Yeah, no, exactly right.
It just comes down to that person who's doing the tuning.
Yeah.
It can get, like you know yourself, you've played with all the different brands. You can get them all very similar.
Yeah, that's right.
That's exactly right. You can put 5 different shocks on a dyno and put the same shims in them, or change them a little bit, and they're all going to handle exactly the same. For that one's got a different piston to that one, so it's going to need different shims. It's all going to handle exactly the same way. It's
the same theory.
Yeah, exactly right.
So where are you? Where's your workshop based at?
My shop's in Yarrabilba, so
That's south side of Brisbane.
Yeah, south side of Brisbane, about 20 minutes in off the M1.
So if say some of the listeners wanted to get their shocks tuned or whatever, what's the best way to get in contact with you?
Shoot us a message on any of the socials, or we have a website, so jump on the website and send us an email. So.
Yeah, cool.
Dialed
Offroad? Dialedoffroad.com.au.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, cool. And that's good for us as well, is like we're on the north side of Brisbane. We have south side customers going like, hey, I want my shocks valved. And you say, hey, just go see Mitch, he's down there. So it's, makes it super easy for us to have dealers out there, because shock tuners are very few and far between. There's not too many around the place that do it as a business. There's plenty of guys out there that do their own stuff.
Like internet experts.
Oh yeah, there's heaps of them.
Everyone's an expert.
But you ask them to valve their shocks, and you valve your shocks, and I go, oh, I've never done that. I just know how to say that brand shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good for us to be able to say, hey, go. And it was the same when you were at S.W.A.T. People in WA, just ring S.W.A.T. It's okay. And
yeah, well, when we used to have cars over there, same thing. They bought a shock absorber, and it doesn't suit their feel of how they want it. S.W.A.T. Well, when you were there, I think S.W.A.T. would still be doing it to this
100%.
day.
Oh yeah, for sure.
They would obviously do tunes and that sort of stuff, or sometimes it can be just the wrong coil choice. And people think the shock shit.
Yeah.
And it's just literally you got too high, too low poundage, whatever.
That's
But
you see that a lot with nitro gas shocks. They'll go put a big heavy GU, and they'll go put a 350-pound spring in the back of it with a shock that just can't handle it. And they're like, oh, it's bouncy. It's like, yes, unfortunately, you've got to spend more money on shocks.
It'll just be shitty.
Yeah,
so it'll just
exactly.
be not,
you can't
not
revalve a nitro gas, so it's just never going to keep up with the spring rate. You've got to change that.
Just finishing up, if you guys need shocks or race cars done, by all means, I think it's a great thing to be talking to Mitch.
Yep,
knows his stuff as well.
So that's it, guys. If you need race cars prepped, you're on the south side of Brisbane, or even just need a 2-inch lift thrown in the Hilux, shout out to Mitch at Dialed Offroad. They'll be able to help you out with anything from, like we said, shock tuning, anything like that. Even if you're our customer on the south side, feel free to give Mitch a call. We'll be able to help you out with any of your car needs. That is us from this episode. Make sure you like and subscribe to all of our content. Follow Dialed Offroad on Facebook, Instagram. Do you have a TikTok?
Don't have a TikTok.
Don't have a TikTok.
Smart boy.
But let us know in the comments what you want to hear from us in the future. And if there's any guests that you want to hear from, we'll catch up with you guys on the next episode of the Superior Podcast.